To step into your power this morning?
Yes.
All right. Your big, glorious, beautiful spiritual power.
Yes.
Because this morning we're going to do a very specific type of empowerment. It's the empowerment of a divine masculine. So that's what we're going to really get into today, the divine masculine. And if you were here on Mother's Day, you would recall that I talked about the healing energy of the divine feminine, and I also said that we will give equal time on Father's Day to the divine masculine, since we have both within us. Okay? Yin and yang. We have both within us. So today we will look at the empowering energy of that divine masculine, and I want to start out with a story. I've told this story before, but it fits so beautifully here, and it's such a poignant story. I love it. A young man was about to graduate from college. So for many months he had been admiring a beautiful sports car in a dealership. And knowing his father could well afford this car for him, he let him know this is all he really wanted for graduation. So as the graduation day approached, the young man awaited signs that his father had indeed purchased this car for him. But on that morning of his graduation, his father called him into his private study and told him how proud he was of him and how much he really loved him. And then the father handed the son a beautifully wrapped gift box. Curious but somewhat disappointed, the young man opened the box and found a lovely leather-bound Bible with his name embossed in gold on it. And angrily he raised his voice to his father and said, "With all your money, and knowing that the only thing I really wanted was this car, and you give me a Bible." And he threw the Bible on his father's desk, and he left the study, and he did not see his father for many, many, many years. And as those years passed, he was relatively very successful in life, had a beautiful family, and there was always something missing. There was that missing part, and it was a place of sadness within him because he had left his father, and there was always that empty spot. So he decided one day, many years later, that he's going to go and visit his father. But before he could make these arrangements, a telegram arrived saying that his father had passed away and had left him his entire estate. So he came to realize that he needed to go and straighten out the business at the father's home. And he did. He went through the desk and through all the important papers, and he discovered this new Bible was still in the box, like it was on the day that his dad had given it to him. With tears in his eyes, he opened the Bible and began to turn the pages. His father had very carefully marked and underlined one verse, and it was from Matthew chapter 7, verse 11. It said, "If therefore you who err know how to give good gifts to your sons, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him?" And as he read those words, keys dropped out the back of the car, and there was a tag on the keys that had the dealer's name and that car dealership, and on it, and the date of his graduation was on there too. And on that was inscribed, "With all my love and blessings for a rich and full life." It's just a story to bring this home. It's the empowering energy of the divine masculine, the power, the protection, the providing has always been with us. It's always available to each and every one of us in all kinds of ways. We just have to open ourselves up to receive it. Like the son. He closed that, threw it down, didn't realize the good was already there. That which he desired was already present. So we're talking about the divine father, mother, father today. And sometimes we're not willing to open up because maybe there's some wounding. And with that hurt that we have, we cannot move past it. Just like the son who was not truly open to receive the gift in the fullness that it was given, in the completeness that it was given. But before I go into all of the human fathers and the divine father, I would like to more importantly go into that whole divine energy of the divine masculine. I want to acknowledge also that many of us had wonderful, caring, loving fathers. And today, those of you who did, I want you to take a moment right now and recognize and honor your father for that. Because maybe you didn't always do it. When he was around, he still might be around. And whether your father is still here or not, you can acknowledge and silently thank him. So take a moment just to do that in your mind. Now, many of us did not have a father who was maybe that kind of father, or maybe he died or left early, before we even knew him. Some of us had fathers who were physically with us, but emotionally not present, completely absent. And then we can go to the other extreme, where people had fathers who were not kind and possibly even abusive. So I'm well aware that this is a day that can stir up mixed emotions for many people. It can. Whatever your relationship is or was with your human father, as adults, as spiritually maturing adults, which is what we all are here, spiritually maturing adults, as adults desiring to step more and more into empowered living so that we can be beneficial presences that we talk about here on this planet, we can realize that whether or not our human fathers were ideal, we have a divine father. We have a divine presence that lives in, around, and through us at all times. And that energy of the divine masculine empowers all of us. That energy that I'm speaking of empowers males and females because, like I said, we have both energies within us. We're male and female. We have it all within us. Our relationship with our earthly father is secondary to our identity with the one presence, the one father that lives through us, the empowering energy of the divine masculine that is ever present for us. So as we recognize and celebrate the energy of this divine masculine today, we honor the power, the protection, and the providing of this divine masculine, all of which play a vital role in moving us forward on our evolutionary journey. We're all evolutionary drivers right now. This is a time, as we know, in our consciousness that is calling for us to step up in that power. So we need to tap into that divine masculine within us. That's where the power is. That's where the presence is. That's where the providing, protecting nature of the divine is. And I'm going to spend a few minutes looking at those three qualities. The power, the protection, and the providing nature. Perhaps I'll say it today because I speak about these words, these qualities of God, of spirit, of the universal force, of good. And maybe it will come in a different way today because we can hear the same thing repeatedly, but it depends on where our level of consciousness and understanding is at that moment. So for starters, the power and protection, providing energy of the divine masculine can empower our lives. We have to realize that it is already present. It's within us. It's within us. So we look for things sometimes outside of us for all of these answers, for all of us, when all the time It's within us. Can't say that enough because I have to hear it. It's within me. It is within me. It's not out here. Out here are the effects. That's what happens when we tap in with our belief system, with our divinity, with every part of what's inside of us. That's how we create the conditions outside of us, the relationships outside of us. So let's look at the power of the divine masculine. The Bible tells us, to them he gave the power to become. Remember that becoming, which I just love, because we're always becoming more. So make sure you're clear on what you want to expand into, to become more of. Holmes gives us, Ernest Holmes is the founder of religious science, and he gives us a formula for accessing this power in The Science of Mind book when he wrote, we are powerful only as we unite with the power. We are weak when we desert this power. So when we're not aware of it, when we don't turn within, when we ignore how powerful we are. One of the New Thought, and we're going to be doing this in the Roots class, one of the New Thought fathers, Thomas Troward, who I love, he once said this, and this is really, he was a brilliant man. He was a judge. He was absolutely brilliant. He wrote, our wisest plan is to follow the pattern of the parent mind. So today we'll use divine masculine. And make a mental self-recognition our starting point. Then the great self-recognition is that of our relationship to the supreme mind. That is the generating center. This is good. Listen to this. This is the generating center, and we are the distribution centers. Just as electricity is generated at the central station and delivered in different forms of power by reason of passing through appropriate centers of distribution. So that in one place, this power might light a room, and in another place, convey a message, and a third, drive a tram car. In like manner, he writes, the power of the universal mind takes particular forms through the particular mind of the individual. It does not interfere with the lines of his individuality, but works along with them, thus making him not less, but more of himself. It is thus not a compelling power, but an expanding power and illuminating one. So that the more the individual recognizes the reciprocal action between it and himself, the more full of life he must become. So the more we go within and recognize that we have this power for good within us, how do we want to use it? It is our choice. It is always our choice on how we want to use this. Everything we ever desire is within us. Within us. It's how do we want to create it? How do we want to create it? Drop into the heart, which will give you every kind of feeling and emotion. And then make a decision, an intelligent decision from that place within your heart that will pull you into a greater expression of being on this planet. So that we can live fulfilling lives. That's the whole point of this, is to live fulfilling, powerful lives. We're powerful creators. Psychologist William James wrote, we habitually use only a small part of the powers that we possess. In a world full of food, people are starving. In a world containing so much beauty and joy, we kill and destroy. We are coming to know that the tense, depressed, fear-ridden millions throughout the world are what they are for the most part because of the negative, undisciplined thinking. More than anything else, these people need desperately, as we all need in various degrees, to have the realization, I believe in the power of the living God. I believe in my own divine potential. Do we believe, really believe, in our own divine potential? Because we all have it. Limitless potentiality exists for each and every one of us. It's about consciously choosing. Consciously choosing. In the language of Abraham, whose work came through Esther Hicks, you are extensions of source energy. You are individualized expressions of God itself. You have come into this physical body as the leading edge. As the leading edge. We are leading edge extensions of the true source of all good. The creative law, the creative medium, the creative mind that has created all that is, was, and ever shall be. Each and every one of us, I can't even emphasize that enough, has this power within them. We are powerful creators, but we don't know that. Someone forgot to tell us that maybe when we were growing up. You are a powerful creator of your life, and you get to choose on how you want to respond, to create in any given situation. So now let's look at protection. That always feels good. You're protected. Rita's not here, but it's like God always has your back. You're not alone. So cultivate that divine relationship. In the book of Ephesians, yes, we are told to put on the whole armor of God so that we will be protected. So discussing this passage, Ernest Holmes studied the Bible quite extensively. He wrote, this is his translation of it, the armor of God is faith in the good. God the good, capital G. The enduring and the true. Against such there is no law. That is, against truth nothing can stand. The armor of God suggests protection to those who believe and trust in the law of good. With this armor, knit together by the thread of unity running through all, strong with the strength of the Almighty, burnishing with clear vision and true estimates of life and reality, we are safe. We are safe. Does that feel good? Take a breath. We are safe. You are safe. We abide under the shadow, I'm still continuing now, of the everlasting truth. With Moses, you can say, underneath are the everlasting arms. Arms of God will always pick us up. It's a metaphor. Will always pick us up. We're surrounded by this infinite intelligence of protection, of safety. Knowing that this is a powerful good, that it always has our back, that's always with us, that can go nowhere, is so comforting, so comforting. And it's the principle of protection, making very real the promise in the Bible, he shall cover you with feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield. So I'm so happy because I made a little, as most of you know, I got a new home. And so now I have this table when you walk in, and I just got last week Ganesha. So he is removing any obstacles, and he's also the God of success. And I have 2 food dogs there. No one's walking into my space unless they are really covered in what my rock says, truth. Only truth lives where I live. Only truth, only beauty lives there. And that's what I'm declaring. So I'm asking you to declare truth is where you live. Truth is where you live within yourself. It's such a powerful, powerful idea to hold and a concept, and it's the truth. It's the ultimate, absolute truth. So we move into the third quality of providing, of the divine masculine. We're still talking about the divine masculine. Whenever we speak our word, with the belief that our word will not return void, we are recognizing and accepting this providing principle. It's the principle of the divine masculine, which is always the giving nature. It's the divine giver of all our good. That's how the law of attraction and all those laws work. It gives us what we think into it. It gives us that back, what we feel into it. It always says yes. That's why it's really important to put the right idea or feeling into that substance of law, so that you then, because you're creating out of it, so you then, it's not judging. We don't believe in a judgmental power. We don't believe in a judgmental God. We believe in a God of love in religious science, and I find that very comforting, very comforting. So the universe is always giving. Ask and ye shall receive. So there was once a little boy who wrote a letter to God, and a postal worker found this envelope addressed to God, written in a child's handwriting. So he opened it and read the letter. Dear God, my daddy has been sick, and we have no money to pay the rent or to buy food. God, could you please send $500? Your friend, Tommy. The postman was so touched by this letter that he started a fund at his postal office for the little boy, and he raised $300. And he put it in an envelope and he delivered it to the little boy's house. 2 days later, another letter arrived at the post office addressed again to God. And this time the letter read, Dear God, thank you very much for the $300. But next time, could you bring it to me directly? It seems that the postal department took out $200 of it. There's a point here, because unlike many of us, this little boy, he had no doubts about who his source was. It was just the channels he was concerned with. You know, 200 got lost in one of those channels. But it's that consciousness of knowing that God is the source. He wrote that letter expecting to receive. And so how strong is your receiving faith? How strong is it within you? When you expect something, then you go into doubt because you negate it. You negate it. Charles Fillmore, who founded Unity with his wife Myrtle Fillmore, in his book Prosperity, he wrote this: The Father's desire for us is unlimited good, not merely the means of a meager existence. We cannot be very happy if we are poor. And nobody needs to be poor, he wrote. It is a sin to be poor. And we know in New Thought thinking, sin means erroneous thinking, wrong thinking. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. To give you the kingdom. Are you accepting it? Are you accepting it, or are you limiting it? He also wrote in his prosperity book, we live in an opulent universe. Anyone knows me, I love that word, opulent. We live in an opulent universe. Supply and success are our rightful inheritance. Prosperity manifests not by asking God for more, but by conditioning our minds through prayer to accept the presence of the providing principle in our lives. We pray to be open to receive the good that is already present. It's magnificent. It's already present. And I'm going to kind of conclude my part of this with a reading from Eric Butterworth, one of Carol Mayall's favorite people, from Spiritual Economics. So just take this in. Just listen to it. God is my supply, everywhere evenly present, and as immediately available as the air I breathe. The moment a need arises in my life, God's infinite substance is immediately at hand to fill it. I am a child of God, and it is right and good that I manifest abundance. As God's child, I have been given the wisdom and intelligence to bring into expression all that I need for my well-being and comfort. God inspires me with good judgment in handling the supply that is already mine, and opens the way to greater good, greater opportunities, and greater blessings. These ideas, these qualities of the divine masculine power, protection, and providing all live within each and every one of us. They are who we are. Whether you're a male or a female, whether you had a glorious or horrific relationship with your birth father, we still give thanks, as we did on Mother's Day, for being here, because we wouldn't have been here without both the mother and the father. But as principles, they live within us. We have the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Everybody does within them. So now I'd like to invite anyone that would have a short story about